Not too long ago, I made a video entitled, "Why is there no Skyrim 2?" I didn't mean it as in, why is there not a second open world game in the same map of Skyrim, but more as in, why has no one followed the Bethesda blueprint? The Bethesda blueprint I refer to is the exact open world design that Bethesda used in all their games, prior to Fallout 76 and Starfield. A giant open world map that the player could explore, full of certain activities. Mainly, there would be hundreds of side quests that the players could partake in, including a main quest, faction quest lines, and of course, many miscellaneous ones as well. There would be hundreds of NPCs that the player could interact with, speak to, and receive quests from. There would also be hundreds of dungeons, each handcrafted, that the player could go into and explore. Oblivion followed this blueprint, as did Skyrim and Fallout 3 and even Fallout 4. Since then, we've seen games copy parts of this blueprint, but not the whole thing. Witcher 3 matched the blueprint with its open world, its side quests, towns and NPCs, but there wasn't one dungeon to explore. Elden Ring had the open world, and it was full of dungeons, yet there was no towns of NPCs to speak with. Avowed tried, but it ended up feeling like a light version. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 almost had the lot, but lacked the dungeons as well. Dragon's Dogma 2 came close, but it didn't hit the same heights as Skyrim. Games would offer some parts of Skyrim, exceeding in some aspects, like Witcher 3's quests or Elden Ring's dungeons, but as a whole package, no game has ever managed to offer everything that Skyrim did. So although there's been no game that's matched Skyrim exactly, with its open world formula full of side quests, towns of NPCs and hundreds of dungeons, today we're going to talk about a game that almost has everything. Dungeons, NPCs, side quests, they're all there. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to introduce you to Tainted Grail, the Fall of Avalon. In this video, I will give a general breakdown of everything the game offers and give my opinion on why this game could be a huge hit for players like myself who like this type of setup. So first of all, what is Tainted Grail, the Fall of Avalon? It is an open world RPG developed by Questline and published by Awaken Realms. Questline is a small indie studio who have only made a few games, including Tainted Grail Conquest, which is a roguelike RPG. A roguelike game is a subgenre of role-playing game, characterized by procedurally generated levels, permanent death, or turn-based or grid-based movement, as inspired by the original 1980s game, Rogue. This game scored well across all major reviewers and was considered a fresh take on the roguelike genre with enjoyable combat. Besides this game and a few others, Questline have never really attempted an open world game like the one they're working on now. Awaken Realms is a professional board and video game publisher based out of Poland. It is they who came up with the whole concept for Tainted Grail and developed a board game that this whole game and its lore is based upon. Tainted Grail, the Fall of Avalon, offers a mature, immersive experience inspired by Arthurian legends, reimagined in a grim and decaying world. Set in a twisted version of Avalon, centuries after King Arthur's death, the game portrays a land plagued by the Red Death and the mysterious weirdness. And yes, that is how it's pronounced. Players navigate a society on the brink, where myths have faded and survival is uncertain. The game starts the player in a very familiar position that we've all gotten used to, with Oblivion, a prisoner in a cell. From here we create our own character and craft their appearance, their starting stats, and we begin our adventure. After a prologue, players will be thrust into an open world, where the game will finally begin. The open world is split into 3 expansive regions: Misty Horns of the South, Sunlit Kuanat, I think that's how it's pronounced, and the Snowy Forlorn Swords, each filled with unique environments and challenges. Like the Elder Scrolls, the game offers the option to play either in first person or third person. It also borrows a lot from the Elder Scrolls, as it has sneaking, which is indicated by an eye symbol, and the lockpicking, which is directly taken from Skyrim's design. When it comes to combat, players have many options to choose from, including over 400 unique weapons, as well as shields. For those who are interested in spell casting, fear not, as the game offers over 55 unique spells and 14 soul cubes. Soul cubes function as charge-based artifacts that build up energy through different combat actions like killing enemies, spending mana, or applying elemental status effects. There will also be wands as well. But this game is all about RPG freedom, and it's up to you to decide what type of player you want to be. Whether you want to strike from the shadows, use bows and daggers, fight face to face using cold steel, or use forbidden rites of the druids, you're free to decide. As far as enemies go, there are over 100 unique enemies, including variants. Based off of the most recent footage that we've seen so far, the game does look a little unpolished. It is made by an indie studio, but overall, it seems to do the trick. Although there's nothing there that will essentially redefine combat in gaming forever, it does what you want it to do, and much like Skyrim, freedom is the main thing. So we are thrust into this open world, but what is there to do? Well, a lot. You're free to explore each of the 3 major regions, and there is so much to encounter. Find unexpected quests and adventures on every inch of the island and roam it without constraints. Explore hidden caves and dungeons, roam ancient ruins and travel through the weirdness itself. Find secrets big and small and piece them all together. One of the big things that a lot of Skyrim-like games have missed is the quantity of dungeons that they offer. Avowed only had 17 in total. Well, Tainted Grail has over 75 dungeons spread across the map for the player to find and explore, as well as shrines and activities. See, this is huge to me, because if you follow my channel, you'll know how important dungeons are to me when it comes to exploring an open world. And the dungeons look good. 75 is more than enough, and there are also tons of side quests for the player to partake in as well. The game boasts over 200 side quests in total, which far exceeds many other open world games. And these quests are mainly given by NPCs, of which it's now been confirmed that there are over 250 unique NPCs that the player can interact with, all of which have voice acting. This also includes faction quest lines as well, just like in the Elder Scrolls. Decision making plays a huge role in this game as well, as the choices you make will have a huge impact on the world. The game features a branching main story quest with hundreds of different endings. During your journey, you'll encounter simple commoners, battle-worn soldiers, and even gods of old in need of your assistance. You'll have to make choices in a world of which there are no good answers, but your decisions matter, and your choices are respected. There will also be mounts that you can ride, as well as pets that you can have follow you around in the world. I mean, look how cute this little thing is. Another thing that I find really exciting is that it copies the blueprint of games like Gothic and, more recently, Kingdom Come Deliverance, in that you start the game out weak. You have to level up your character, and at the start, every battle is a narrow victory. As in, when you first start to play this game, it will be really difficult. But as you carry on, your character will level up, grow stronger, and eventually you'll be able to tackle and defeat most enemies with ease. So you really will feel that growth that's also found in games like Elden Ring and Kingdom Come Deliverance. But unlike those two games, in the event you don't want that experience, or if the game's just too difficult, you can easily switch the difficulty setting at any time, just like in the Elder Scrolls. I'm not gonna lie, when I got to a high level in Skyrim and every Druga basically became a Deathlord champion, world devouring, everlasting Druga overlord, I knocked it down a couple of levels. You'll also have the ability to cook and craft via blacksmithing, as the game will come with many supporting systems that will allow you to use all of the gathered ingredients and transform them into useful items, life-saving potions, or even food. The studio behind the game have been releasing updates all the time to their fans and giving access to those who've been supporting them. It is incredible the amount of work that they've put in, but what also really impressed me the most is that they really listen to feedback. Players asked for a third-person option, and they gave it to them. Players asked for more options in crafting, and they added it. It is a real testament to the way the studio is set up in that they are actively releasing updates and demos, letting players experience it, then building on all the feedback. It's something we often see with smaller studios, and it's a reason for a lot of their success. Examples of this is Warhorse with Kingdom Come Deliverance and Sandfall with Clair Obscur. Nowadays, it seems that the small indie studios are able to make bigger strides as they maintain a close relationship with their fans. The journey of the creation of Tainted Grail mirrors this exactly, but can this game compete with the Elder Scrolls? Well, before I cover that, I have a quick word from today's video sponsor, Instant Gaming, and they save you money on video games. Due to the fact they get their keys directly from the source, they're able to offer games for far less than retail value. They have over 700,000 reviews on Trustpilot, and they have a 4.7 out of 5-star rating, so they do what they say. For example, you can get the Oblivion Remaster, normally around £50, here for just £37. Or the game that everyone's currently raving about, Clair Obscur, is available for just £24. Or even Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, normally £60, here for just $33.63. You see, you buy a few games through Instant Gaming, and in the long term, it saves you a lot. That way you can have extra money to buy other games. And it's super easy to use. You just pick your game, pick your platform, make your purchase, and you get your code. Enter your code in on your preferred system, and voila, there it is, ready to go. So if you want to save some money on video games, whilst also supporting the channel, click on the first link down in the description. And thank you again to Instant Gaming for sponsoring today's video. So, can Tainted Grail compete with the Elder Scrolls? Naturally, the game has been drawing comparisons to the Elder Scrolls series, especially Skyrim, for several good reasons. While it's still early to say whether it will rival the franchise in the long term, there is an argument that it could. First of all, Bethesda games are known for giving players freedom to shape the world through choices. Tainted Grail promises to offer a choice-driven narrative with multiple endings and morally grey factions. It also allows the player to create their own character and approach the game any way that they like, which is exactly the freedom that we expect from a game from Bethesda. You see, although other open world games have matched Bethesda for quality like Witcher 3, Red Dead Redemption 2 or Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, you are a set character at the start of those games. You can make decisions with that character, but you have a name, a voice, a set past, and the main story tends to remain generally the same. Bethesda games are so popular because you make the character, you make the backstory, it's a clean slate. The fact that Tainted Grail has matched this approach neatly ticks a huge box, and the fact its writing is more dark, mature, and morally complex, it could even offer a better narrative than Bethesda's titles, which tend to be quite lacking when it comes to writing depth. The open world design almost matches a Bethesda title stride for stride, as not only is it a huge open world with over 75 dungeons, 200 side quests and hundreds of NPCs to interact with, but it also has deep established lore. The Elder Scrolls is famous for its rich lore, but Tainted Grail offers that too. The plague of Red Death and the spreading weirdness are affecting the world, and there's multiple factions who have their own plan for the future of the island. Based off of the previous Tainted Grail video games and board games, the world of Avalon and the people who inhabit this world are well established, and it could match the Elder Scrolls when it comes to crafting an open world with years of history already established, multiple factions, and different types of enemies. It's just a lot darker. Another comparison is player progression. In the Elder Scrolls, players define themselves through leveling and skill trees. Tainted Grail includes deep character builds with perk-based progression, meaningful skill development including crafting, alchemy, stealth, melee, and much more. Players can also customize their character with new gear, a standard in modern RPGs. And besides that, we can also see the similarities in how the game looks, such as the sneak icon being the same, the lockpicking being the same, the dual wielding of spells and weapons, the third person or third person approach. It's quite clear that the developers took a lot of inspiration from games like Skyrim. But the most important thing, the thing that gives me the most hope, is that it follows the same blueprint that we saw in previous Bethesda games like Skyrim. A giant handcrafted open world for players to explore, filled with dungeons, hundreds of NPCs that we can speak to, each one voice acted, who can give us information, guidance, insight, as well as side quests to complete. The ability to just pick a direction and just go, knowing you'll find something in every corner. The ability to create our own character and craft our own role-playing experience. Weapons, spells, romance, crafting, leveling, a story full of decisions that have consequences. The truth is, this game promises a lot. The studio behind this game have definitely made an attempt to match the quantity of a game like Skyrim while sticking to the lore that they've already established. When I think of how many games have attempted to match the Skyrim formula, rarely has a game managed to tick so many of the boxes, and this is the reason for my excitement. The only major difference I see is the art and the style. This game looks more like a Dark Souls with a more serious tone and dark colour palette. It looks, in some parts, quite scary when compared to the happy fantasy world of the Elder Scrolls. But the overall world design is almost identical to Skyrim outside of aesthetics. But can it match the Elder Scrolls 6? Well, I think that would be really an unfair comparison. Because of the design choices, the open world setup as well as the UI, this game will inevitably be compared to games like Skyrim. I mean, how can it not? But the thing we have to remember is that this is a game made by a small studio. Bethesda are huge, have hundreds of employees, are bankrolled by Microsoft, and have been working on the Elder Scrolls 6 longer than this game has been in development. This is a small team of developers, and we should always remember that. I'm sure when the game first drops there will be teething issues, but just the fact that we are seeing another small team attempt to make a game of this magnitude, I mean, you can only applaud their efforts. It may not match the scope or the quality of the Elder Scrolls when it finally arrives, but for fans like myself who have been waiting for Bethesda's next Elder Scrolls game for over 14 years, this will really fill the gap. If it is successful, it may even put this studio on the map and give them the funds and popularity to take this series even further, which could eventually lead to a day when they can compete directly with big titles like The Elder Scrolls. But the most important thing is they are going to match the Skyrim model. Giant open world, handcrafted, full of side quests, dungeons, and true player freedom and customization. It might not be Skyrim 2.0, but they are certainly going for it. Can it match the quality of that game? Well, we won't have to wait long to find out. The game is set to release next Friday on the 23rd of May for PC, Xbox and PS5. I will be getting it day one, so be sure to subscribe if you want to get my full review when the game comes out. But the one thing I do expect, it will deliver where Avowed did not. That game promised exactly what this game promises. Multiple open zones, side quests, dungeons, but it fell very short. It had far less dungeons and side quests when compared to the Elder Scrolls. But judging by Tainted Grail's content list, I think this will be the Avowed that we really wanted, and although it may not match the Elder Scrolls exactly, it will certainly come closer than other games like Avowed did. But anyway, that's it for this one, but what do you guys think? Do you think this game can be the next Elder Scrolls? If you are aware of the game, what are you most excited about? Or can you name another upcoming game that you feel will be the next Elder Scrolls competitor? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, please give it the thumbs up, and if you're new here, please consider subscribing. I'm AvGaming, where we do video game analysis, identifying what makes great games great, and what could make good games great as well. Thanks for watching, Av out.